So let's start off with just tell me what was going on that allowed you how do you start searching for answers? Like what was the problem?
You know what? The main thing is that I have had two infidelities through my marriage. On the first infidelity, it was 13 years ago. So my wife, she decided to, I left after the infidelity. I left the house, and then after coming back, she went to look for me, and we came back into the house. But it just kind of like seemed like we never really fixed things, or it wasn't really ever a commitment, between the two of us. So what I did is I went to work, focus on my business. I grew and developed my business. I'm a real estate broker, and I became very successful in real estate. She focused more on the kids. My mom passed away 4 years ago, so it's been 4 years ago. And after my mom passed away, I had a second infidelity, and so after the second infidelity, I came back with like pretty much asking my wife for forgiveness, and she decided to take me back. So we came back, we started working things again. But one of the things that I really feel is she forgave me in a way, but my way of being changed completely, because I went from being a provider, hardworking, dedicated man in my business, very strong mindset, with a lot of always being assertive on the decisions and the business and everything, all the things that I took. But at the same time, I neglected my wife for many years. And I feel that neglecting her, over time, it accumulated. And and then she also mentioned that, like she said, the reason why I feel the way that I feel, it's not because of the infidelities, it's more of because of the way that you treated me and the way that you neglected me over the years. So it eventually, what happened was that it just became a domino effect, in a way, a compound effect, and I feel the way that I feel. So for my birthday, for my 40th birthday, I went on a trip to Mexico on my own. And when I came back, the day that I came back, she said, I want to get a separation for 6 months. And then she said, the reason why I want to get separated is because since you left to Mexico, I feel that I don't love you anymore. And I said, so you don't have any more feelings for me, or what's going on? And she says, well, she goes, I feel that I wasn't missing you. She says, I didn't miss you. I feel that I was better without you. I just felt that I don't have the same feelings right now, right at this moment. She says, I don't have the same feelings that I used to have for you. And so it completely broke me down. I think I've never been in a worse situation after my mother's death. I think that was kind of like, something that put me like really, really on a dark side. And I felt like I was, in hell, suffering a lot. And so during the first 2, 3 days, we went into separate rooms. And so she stayed in the master bedroom, which is upstairs, and I stayed in the guest room, which is downstairs. And for the first couple of days, I went up, and I was crying to her, and I was begging her not to leave me. I was begging her to work on the relationship. I was telling her, like, I think we can do something about it. We should be able to work it out. There's so many couples that had gone through the same exact thing. Why don't you love me anymore? I still love you. Let's work on this. Let's do whatever we can.
Trying to force it.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she was really cold. She was like, not showing any feelings at all. And she was just like, just get up, she's like, I already told you, like, just all I need is just some time. After the first week, I asked her to go to a coffee shop and talk to each other. And the first thing that she mentioned to me is that she had already made her decision and she wanted to get divorced. And so it broke me down again. And I just feel that I don't know. I feel that I really needed her. I feel that I need her to be part of my life in order for me to feel some sort of existence in a way. And one of the things that I've noticed, by going through the program now, is that when I came back begging her to take me back after the last infidelity, I became very, very needy. I became very feminine. I started like texting her all the time. I started like sending her messages. I love you. I miss you. I want to see you. I can't wait to get out of work to go and see you. And then I started getting out of work earlier to be home. And so I started to spend a lot more time with her. And so eventually she said, you know what, I just feel like you're overing me, like you're, putting too much attention. She goes like, I don't know why you're putting so much attention when before you weren't even like this loving, you weren't even like this caring, you didn't ever put like so much attention on me. And I told her, well, it's because I've changed now. It's because I discovered, that, now I have a loving side that I didn't know I had before, which it was kind of true because I did a trip I went on an ayahuasca journey, and at the ayahuasca journey, I discovered my soft side, which I also discovered that I had put away many years ago. And it was kind of like the reason why, like she would always tell me that I was like a very narcissistic guy, that I only care about me, that I didn't have any empathy, that I had no feelings for a lot of people and things like that. No, and then I was just focused on my business. So when I came back, I went from one side all the way to the other side. And so I feel that that was part of what affected me. So when I started listening to your videos, because I started looking more into, like, I said, this is not me. Like, this is not who I am. And one of the things that I also discovered was that I was afraid of being who I was before. And because I was afraid of the person that I was before, I kind of like put that person on the back, and I try to become this other person now, like very loving, very caring, very completely different on the polarized, completely different on the other side. And so until recent, with all the homework that I've been doing, like, and I tell you one thing, the program that you have has been helping me a lot. One of the things that I've discovered was that I needed to become one. And that person that I was afraid of, I didn't needed to be afraid of that person anymore, because that was the person that was with me all the time. He was always with me. He was always protecting me. And now I discovered this other part, but I don't have to be this other part all the time. I can be on my masculine all the time, and I can utilize what I know now about my feminine side and integrate it. And so when I was able to integrate that part and accept that I don't need any validation from anybody but myself, and I was able to recognize myself and who I am and everything that I've been able to create and everything that I've been able to do throughout my career and throughout my life, I was able to put everything in a perspective that I'm not in need of anyone. All I need is myself. I want my wife and my family to be around me, but I don't need them to fulfill me. I can give myself the love that I want. one of the things that I also discovered through the program was that I used to feel rejected. The reason why I neglected my wife many times is because I felt the rejection from her, which at the end, it wasn't really a rejection from her. It was a story that I had of my childhood trauma. When I was about 6 years old when my mom found out that my father was already living with another family. And so that devastated my mom. She used to cry. And what I would do, I would try to go and hug my mom and tell her that I love her. And during those times, my mom would tell me, "No, go away. I don't want you to come and hug me. I don't want you to tell me that you love me." Um, she would say, "You look like your father, and I don't want you to come to me right now because you remind me of your father so much that I cannot have you by my side." And so when I went and I did that meditation, I discovered that all my mom was asking for was for some space. And because I was 6 years old, I couldn't understand
You
that
took
all
it
she
personally
needed.
that it was you weren't good enough. There's something wrong with you.
Exactly. So I took that personal. And so I grew up and I took it into my marriage. And so every time that my wife would tell me, "I need some space, don't come close to me right now," I would go back and do the same exact thing. I would try to hug her, I would try to kiss her, and she would tell me, "No, please don't come close to me. Please, I need my space." And so I would get upset, I would get mad, I would get angry, and sometimes I would try to, like get back to her and somehow in a way, because I would think that she was doing it intentionally to hurt me. And so when I discovered that, I was like, dude, this is all just my own story that I created because of the trauma that I had. And so I was able to replace the story with a new story, telling myself, um, all my mom was, all she was asking for was some space. She needed to deal with her own emotions. And also going through the program, I discovered that many times women have to deal with their own emotions. We don't have to be emotional. And so I was pretty much being another feminine person with a feminine wife, fighting over my emotions and fighting over her emotions. And I think that was also part of the reason why, we were kind of like always, in that situation, because I didn't know how to deal with my own personal emotions. And one of the things that I learned now through the program is I get to decide that I can go in my own space, and I get to decide to deal with my own emotions. So I can have the ability to be the man, that masculine presence, to help her deal with her own emotions rather than throw my emotions on her.
Oh, what I want to ask is two questions. How long ago did you join the program? And the second question is, where are you at now with her?
So I started the program, I think it was in July, July 10,
Okay, so about 6 weeks ago.
about 6 weeks ago. Yeah.
And how are things with her now? What's going on?
So
Big
with
sigh.
her, yeah, with her right now, she still wants to go through the divorce, um, which is kind of like something that she's taught for a little bit. And we have had a couple of conversations. One of the last conversations, I told her, I don't want the divorce. I said, why don't you just put it on pause for now? And then, we get to see what happens. And she says, what is going to happen? I said, I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. I go, so let's just put it on pause until the end of the year. And then let's see what happens. And then we decide whether or not we want to continue with the divorce. So what I find out later, it was that she had already sent the form and everything signed to the attorney, and the attorney had already submitted it to the court. So she was asking for my email. She didn't have an email. I said, I can give you a new email if that's really what you want. She hasn't asked me for my email. And Sunday we had a conversation, and I said to her, what does the divorce mean to you? And she says, well, really what I'm trying to do with the divorce, she says, I'm trying to put an end to the marriage that we had. And she says, I just want to kill that marriage. I don't know what's going to happen after that. She says, but the way that I see it is, I still see it as you living in the house, being with us. She said, what is very important for me is the family. She goes, I still want to continue being a family. I still want to continue being your business partner, because she's my business partner. I still want to continue doing the business with you. She says, the only thing that changes is that I want to, after the divorce, I want to split the money that we have, the properties that we have. She goes, and I want my own independence. I want to discover who I'm really are, who as a person, who Monica really is. She says, I don't want to be Eloy's wife anymore, because everybody knows me as Eloy's wife. I want to have a presence. She goes, I want to have my own independence. I want to develop my own personality. And then I said, okay, so but what happens on the emotional side? Because at first, in prior conversations, she had said, I want to be emotionally available to be with other men. And so now, after the changes that she's seen on me, I'm starting to see her becoming more feminine again. So one of the things that I wanted to mention, also through the program, I discovered that when I came back, all I was doing was working on her to forgive me. So I was bringing all these programs, we were going to all these events, and my whole intention was for her to forgive me, but I never forgave myself. And so going through the program, I was able to do another meditation where I forget myself for everything that happened, and I was able to let go. And also on the last conversation, one of the things that I told her, I mentioned it to her. I said, look, one of the things that my therapist asked me was, why are you there? My therapist said, why are you there, Eloy? You have like pretty much all the money in the world. Like you're this wealthy guy. You can go whatever you want to go. You can go and buy a house, whatever you want to go and buy a house. You can have whoever you want to have. And she said, you don't need to be there. Why are you there? And I told her, the reason why I'm here, I said, and what I told to my therapist is that the reason why I'm here is because I am here to prove myself that it doesn't matter the circumstances. I'm a new man, and I'm not the person that I was before. That person died a long time ago, and this new person now, this person is it's a person that is loyal, is a high valuable man, is a guy that is going to stay here, that is going to stick around, that it doesn't matter the situation, it doesn't matter the circumstances. I am going to be here, and I'm going to be solid. And so the reason why I'm here more than anything is to prove to myself that I am who I say that I am. And the second reason why I'm here, I said, is also proving to myself that I can love unconditionally. That even at the worst events, even when I'm not being loved by the person that I love, that I can still demonstrate that I love my wife and that I love my kids. And then at the end, she was like, whoa, she goes like, you're being very tough on yourself. She says, and she goes, I'm sorry that I haven't showed any love to you lately. And so right after that conversation, she started like, having more conversations with me. she started calling me over the phone like 2 or 3 times, just kind of like different things about the kids. When before she would text me, now she's calling me, and she started cooking breakfast for me when I'm around the kitchen. She's like, "Do you want breakfast?" Or at nighttime, she's like, "Oh, do you want to eat some dinner?"
Yeah.
And now she's before she was complaining that I was this man, that I was always trying to control her. And now that I'm like, telling her, like, oh, let's go and do this, she's kind of like starting again to follow my lead. So I am seeing a lot of those changes now lately, but I think it was mainly because I was able to recognize myself and accept myself and forgive myself.
Eloy, how valuable is that to you to be able to do that?
It has no value. Yeah.
And how, I mean, the how obviously is a long answer, but if you were, let me ask you from this perspective, I love using this perspective. If you were to go back in time and talk to yourself, let's say 2, 3 years ago, and tell him something he needed to hear to get to where you're at now, what would you tell him?
I would tell him that it's worth it. That it's worth it, and that we are going to be okay. Because the person that I became now, I'm a lot more stronger than before. And I think the beautiful part about it is that before I used to be strong. I used to be aggressive,
Hmm.
and now I don't have to use that aggressiveness
Hmm.
as before. So now I can be strong, but at the same time I can be sensitive. I can listen to my heart now, and before, I wasn't able to connect my heart with my emotions. So now I'm able to stop for a second and decide what is the best way to go about certain things. If I need to use my logic, or if I need to use, my heart to make the best decision out of a situation. Before, everything was just about logic, 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 logic. And yeah, I would make very good logical decisions,
Yeah.
but I would hurt people at times because I wouldn't have the ability to be sensitive with my heart. It was
Right.
just about like making a logical decision and foreseeing the outcome through logic.
Yeah.
One of the things that had really helped me a lot is being able to contribute back into when I see now that there's new people jumping in, I try to be a contribution to them. And I kind of tell them what I would want someone to had tell me when I joined the program. Even though there's a lot of people that like commented back to whatever I was posting, but I kind of feel now that need of giving back to them and telling them that it doesn't matter the situation, they're going to be okay. Because now, like, see, in my case, I know even if my wife, even if Monica decides not to continue being with me, which I know that is most likely for her to continue being with me because of all the changes that she's seen on me and all the changes that I'm seeing on her. But it doesn't matter whatever the outcome is, they are going to be okay. And they're going to come out to be even a lot stronger than what they were before.
Tell me more. Tell me a little bit about this concept of like, I was talking to a guy earlier today about this, about what letting go means.
I think it's hard. It is hard to let go because when you're in hell, and it really feels that you're right there in hell. One of the things that I felt really, really strong, I can feel my emotions. Like, literally there'll be nights where I would go to sleep and I would wake up sweating, and I can feel like even, my bones, like they were kind of like burning, and I felt that I had sweated throughout the whole night. And I guess, when you are in that specific place, it doesn't feel like you're ever going to get out. And so I think it's really hard to think I can let go of the emotions, that everything that is bothering me. I can let go of that person that I was in the past. I can let go of the how can you put it? Because I think a lot of the times, more than anything, is those feelings that you're carrying with you are the ones, more than anything, the ones that keep you there. And truly, I think what I believe letting go is letting go of all those negative feelings, those negative emotions. You have to face them, and you got to be willing to leave them back. Like, to understand that that's not who you are anymore. That, yeah, maybe some of those emotions that you felt, the negativity, the frustration, the rejection, all those, part of those feelings that you were feeling, it's probably what got you to make the mistakes that you made. But there are also the need of the mistakes that you needed to make to be able to learn the lesson. And I think once you're able to comprehend that, it's more than anything a blessing. Then you're ready to let go of everything that happened in the past.